Join Boise State Public Radio for a concert with blues rock guitarist and vocalist Coco Montoya at the Treefort Music Hall in Boise, February 13th, with reserved seating. A night with Coco Montoya and his band. Find details and a link for tickets at boisestatepublicradio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector, Idaho Daily News. Good morning, I'm Tammy Tremblay. It's Wednesday, February 5th, and here are today's headlines. State legislators will get another look at a bill that could repeal Idaho's Medicaid expansion program if certain restrictions are not met. James Dawson reports.
Republican Representative Jordan Redmond introduced a similar measure last year, which includes work requirements, a 3-year lifetime limit on health benefits, and an overall enrollment cap. If these and other conditions aren't met by next July, Redmond says the Medicaid expansion program would shutter.
The goal is that we would hit these safeguards and it saves the state more money to keep.
House Minority Leader Alana Rubel says those requirements would essentially spell the end of the program.
I think this will, for all practical purposes, mean Medicaid expansion repeal, because some of these waivers we've asked for in the past, and they're not possible to grant in compliance with the Affordable Care Act.
Redmond says he's confident the Trump administration will sign off on the proposed restrictions. Democratic Representative Megan Egbert joined Republicans in voting to introduce the bill, saying she wants to ask further questions about the proposal. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
House Republican leaders say a proposed private school tuition subsidy that cleared a Senate committee this week would be dead on arrival should it make it to their side of the Capitol. The bill from Republican Senator David Lent would use $20 million to fund private school tuition, among other education expenses, through the existing Empowering Parents Grant program. Lent's proposal barely cleared a Senate committee Monday night. The deciding vote was cast because it added $30 million in new special education funding. House Majority Leader Jason Monk says he would kill it if the measure clears the Senate in favor of a $50 million tuition subsidy bill he co-sponsors. That money would be distributed using a refundable tax credit.
It's the fairest way of doing it. It's the least bureaucratic way of doing it. It keeps the Department of Education out of the mix, and it puts the power back into the parents, where they choose and how they choose to spend their money.
Lent didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. A House committee will consider the tax credit bill at 9 this morning. Tax season is upon us, and instead of shelling out money to paid software programs like TurboTax or H&R BLOCK, some Idahoans can now use a free online filing system for both their state and federal returns. Julie Legitta has more.
Renee Iman from the Idaho Tax Commission says the new direct file program from the Internal Revenue Service is very similar to commercial options, with interview-style questions to click through.
You first start by preparing and filing your tax return directly with the IRS. And then when you're done with that, you click a button and the information gets transferred to your Idaho return through Idaho's e-file tool.
Tested as a pilot program by the IRS last year, the system is now available in Idaho. Iman says 90% of Idahoans file their taxes online already. This free option is for people with simple returns and is open to all income brackets.
You must have lived in Idaho for all of 2024, and you must use the standard deduction. You can't itemize, but you can use some common credits and tax deductions.
About 210,000 Idahoans are expected to be eligible for this new program, or 20% of taxpayers in the state. Julie Duguetta, Boise State Public Radio News.
And that's today's episode of The Connector. I'm Tammy Tremblay, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out boisestatepublicradio.org or download the free Boise State Public Radio app. Thanks for listening.
We're more than just podcasts and a radio station at Boise State Public Radio. We're a trusted resource and a lifeline for communities across Idaho. It's up to all of us to safeguard public media's future. You can learn more at protectmypublicmedia.org. Together, we can ensure that Boise State Public Radio remains a trusted resource for you and your neighbors for generations to come.